Battle of Shiloh, as part of the Civil War, took place April 6th and 7th of 1862 in Shiloh, Tennessee. It was also called the Battle of Pittsburgh Landing. And this was it was the second largest battle that took place during the Civil War. And we had the opportunity to visit the Shiloh National Military Park. And this park was established in 1896. A lot of visitors will go there as they see it as a national park, and they will go visit it like they do any other national park. But often when they go there, and they leave with a very sobering experience. We had the opportunity several years ago to visit Shiloh National Military Park, and it was a very humbling and sobering experience to walk around there and to see the battlefields and to imagine what took place there. But my husband had a few unusual experiences while he was there, and that he will share with us, that I believe exemplified the spirit that is there in that place.
One of the things we didn't realize in visiting Shiloh National Military Park was, well, we didn't really expect the experiences that we had there. I think a lot of visitors enter like they're on vacation, and you don't expect the solemnness of the park. There's definitely a very humbling feeling being there. And I mean, we were visiting with friends, and it was kind of a lark to be out and about. And when we were in there, and it's not even just seeing the monuments that are around the park. There is very definitely a presence there. It is kind of it's a graveyard. It's kind of a hallowed spot, and I didn't expect that. Nor did I expect some of the experiences that we had when we were there. I mean, I can't say that I'm the sort of person who believes in, I mean, I'm not like a serious, ghost kind of a person, but there was definitely some things that I experienced there that really surprised me. The traveling through the park was a very humbling experience. But it was kind of an off day, so there weren't a lot of visitors to the park. There was just a couple of visitors that day. It was midday, and so we were, as there were two couples, myself and a friend and our wives, and as we were going along, we were surprised, we were impressed with how there's so much forest there, and the trees are quite overgrown. As we were driving to some of the first places in there, I really was just thinking about, this is a cool place to visit. I like museums. I like historical sites. So I was really fascinated by that. But at one point, we went to a part of the park where apparently the Confederate Army had been holding the ground, and they have some monuments there. They have some cannons there, and we were just kind of driving in there, and down past one of the buildings that was there, and down in the lower area, there was this like little valley down there. Now supposedly, well, there was a cannon down there, and as we were kind of driving in, I noticed that there was a man standing next to the cannon with a gray uniform on. And my first thought was, this is one of those Civil War reenactors. And but then as I mentioned that to my wife and my friends in there, it occurred to us there were no other cars there. And then when we looked back down there was nobody there. And that kind of surprised me. I was like, and I really, we made an effort to drive around and look and see if there was somebody else there, and there was nobody else there. And they would have had to come up past us if they were there. But then as we drove kind of back a little bit and looked down into there was just the cannons down there. So I can't say that I know exactly what I saw, but there was definitely a man standing next to the cannon, and he had a Confederate uniform on, and with the gray, and that really surprised me. Then as we were driving further into the park, there were these moments as we're driving along the road that it looked like there were these puffs of smoke, like in the middle of the road, that like a cannon had been fired. And my good buddy who was driving the car, he couldn't see it, and I'm like, okay, am I going crazy here? I'm like, what's going on? I didn't expect to come to Shiloh National Park to have a ghost experience. Really, honestly, didn't intend on that. I mean, I'd heard stories of people telling stories about things like that, and but there were at least 3 times when we were on the road that there were these puffs of smoke, like somebody had just fired a cannon there, and the cloud of smoke was just kind of hanging in the air, and I was the only person who could see it, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then as we were driving along, at one point we were turning on the road kind of curved, and there was a stand of trees to my right, and out of the corner of my eyes, I thought I saw somebody standing in the trees, and they had a blue woolen coat on, and I'm like, and then I looked back, and there was nobody there, and I'm like, dude, this is getting to be a little interesting. And so it was more than I expected. There was definitely, those moments kind of surprised me, and maybe it's because of that I just really had this sense that there was something deeply spiritual, special about this piece of ground. All the men that died there. I have family that from both sides. That fought on both sides of the Civil War, probably more in the South than in the North, but definitely in the North. And in fact, one of the families, the Aldermans, who I'm a descendant of, had family both in the South and in the North. And so it always kind of, when we were driving through Shiloh Park, I was thinking, what are the possibilities that I had ancestors fighting on both sides there at that park during that immense period. The other thing that really stood out to me was our visit to a place called Bloody Pond, and we did have a chance at the visitor center to talk to the national park ranger, and they did say that we did learn some of the history about that. Apparently, where it got its name was not from the mysterious experiences that some people have cited, but it was more from when during the battle. Apparently, the bodies were literally tossed into the pond, and the blood from these bodies laying in there and floating in there tainted the water, and definitely gave it a very red hue. You definitely, when you go in, you go in with one mindset, and you come out with an entirely different emotion going on, that you've visited some place that's very humble.
After the gunfire and smoke settled, each army proclaimed victory, but the Confederate Army lost each incurring massive casualties, better than 10,000 men for each side.